I'm here at the Nelson Atkins Museum at Kansas City. It's been voted one of the best museums in the country, and actually the top museum in the country in certain years. And it's also one of the 10 largest. The most amazing thing, though, I'm going to show you really close. This building is just incredible, and it's an art museum, but really, right in plain sight, the real art is the building itself. It's said to have broken ground for an art museum in the summer of 1930, and 3 years later, in the fall, December, right around there, it was opened as a museum. The cornerstone was laid in 1931, and a year and a half later, they said the outside was completed. A year and a half in 1931 to 32. When you see what this building is constructed with, you're going to see absolutely no way that if they did it now, that it could ever even be constructed even close to those years. And the most amazing thing is it said that it was $2.7 million to do this, which in 2018 would have been 54 million, right around there. This building, no way, could be made for 54 million right now. And it certainly couldn't be made with what you're going to see is in this building and what it's made from. Yes, the art is some of the best art in the entire world, but the building itself is a timeless building that, in my estimation, has been here way, way, way longer than anything what they're saying from 100 years ago. You know people, other people that are 80 years old, and we're not talking that much longer than that. This building would be brand new. You see and use your judgment if this building has been here for much, much, much longer than that, and that's just the current narrative, or if in fact it was built during that time. The amazing thing is when I sit down and really look at online reports and try to find the big questions about this building, like how on earth they ever got the marble columns here or in place. Those things just are not talked about anywhere that I can find them online. And you can see these huge columns right in front. They are in sections, but each section is going to weigh tons. And to each side, we have these bronze vases, essentially. And in the front, there's mural, and the stonework is just massive stones. But as we approach the building, what this really looks like is that it was added later. And in the case of a mud flood situation, it would definitely have been added later, because those windows that you see right at ground level would just be another floor, and there would be many underneath it. Again, we're up on a hill, so that would be the case if this is just the upper floors now. But as we approach the front doors, you can see the massive columns that are actually in place currently. And these columns, we don't have any way to see what's on the inside. There's symbology around them, of course, but they're just massive. They're about 50 feet tall, at least, maybe 60 feet tall, holding up the entire structure. And right at the entrance, 3 large entrances with bronze doors. When you pull on it, you can get an idea of the weight of that door, just to make that door and get it into place at a time when with the machinery that they would have. But as we come in to the central part of the room, there are massive columns on the right massive columns on the left, 4 massive right off-white columns, marble columns. But look at these just incredible columns that are in place in here. Black marble with white streaks in it. They're probably about, again, 50 feet high. Now to look at these columns down low, you can see the intense, amazing carving that's been done on these columns. I'll call it fashioning because it doesn't look like any tool has been set to this. It's perfectly smooth, it's perfectly uniform, it perfectly matches the other columns. The only thing that I know that can do that now is what's called computer-aided design, CAD. And dentists are able to use those to make exact teeth from extremely hard substances, just like this. These sections, you can see that there's a joint there, but from there to the lower part, that looks to be over 6 feet. And the weight of that would just be massive. And to get that into place without even having a scratch on it, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and then have it be set in a situation where it's actually supporting the roof the exact amount without having anything that to shimmy it up, so to speak, or get it tight in there. They would have to be set and the roof put down, the top part put down over it. I think everyone just assumes that this stuff can be done and this construction is done, but this construction is not done. This room is a relic or an evidence of an amazing time in which the most amazing construction and craft work was done. And it's right here in plain sight. Everyone stares at the art that they put up on the walls, but this is the most amazing mystery. These columns, the construction of this room, and these being able to be put in place whenever they were done is a mystery. But in 1932, if you take $1 billion right now and go to make these columns and just make a replica of this room, I don't know of a way that it would actually could be done. Now, anybody that has a different point of view on that, post in the comments below. But just in the restructuring, rehabilitation of a state capitol in which they had to get white marble at Minnesota, they had to go to Georgia to find white marble to match it, then send the blocks to Italy to be fabricated, and then send them back, and then try to find master craftsmen, and it was just to do a touch-up. This is from square one. This building, this room right here, just to get these columns made and brought up here would be an incredible amount of time. But to set the foundation and to set the roof and to even be able to even accomplish any of it, and saying that it was done from July of 1930 and the museum opened 3 years later, and that the building was substantially complete in a year and a half, what are we being told? These are giant bronze doors. Really incredible. This is the original doors and foyer of the building on the east side. They built another contemporary building to enter from, but you can see the original building on the outside. And these bronze doors are like others that I've seen in Kansas City. They're probably about 12 feet high and just massive and very strong. And I think most people walk into this museum to look at the art that is here rather than the art of the building itself. It's kind of like hidden in plain sight in that respect, because everything here has symbols on it in the building. And this isn't even the front. This is the side. You can see everything's stone, marble. And coming to the staircase, you can see the marble sections that have been put on the top, slightly beveled where your handle would go. Marble on the sides, marble underneath, and marble as we turn, perfectly done. And you can see on the ceiling, the woodwork is really exquisitely done. And stepping into this glorious room from the north, you can see that everything is perfectly done. And I asked somebody who worked here about the columns and if there was any information, and there really is not. Apparently nobody ever asks about really the biggest impossibility right standing in front of everyone. Of course, the marble was said to have come from Italy. He said there's that. But other than that, there is no information so far that I've found. The Nelson Atkins Museum at Kansas City. Just an amazing structure that looks timeless and ancient. Post your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.